everybody. Welcome to Supercharge Dialogues episode 3. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Should be able to hear me. Y'all can hear me? Can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
can.
okay,
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. Only have each other to hear only. But anyway, welcome everybody to Supercharge Your Future Dialogues episode 3. Today we are talking about business sustainability with employee satisfaction. And here we have with us today two amazing people, Nicholas and Alvin. I'll be letting them intro themselves later on as well, but they will be sharing a bit more about themselves when we intro them later. Okay, so if you guys are here on our Facebook Live, as usual, if this is your first time, really we are here to share more information about finances and even about businesses, and we are moving forward with a lot of different kinds of things and getting more people to be interviewed as well. So do stay tuned for that. And at the same time, if you guys have any questions relating to today's topic about businesses, feel free to put in comments. And if we are able to get to them, we'll definitely ask both Nicholas and Alvin for it as well. So with me, I have Timothy, who is also one of the hosts. So both of us, me and Timothy, we are going to ask both Alvin and Nicholas a few questions, about businesses and how we can actually move forward with that. Okay, and so if you guys have any form of queries, feel free to put in the comments. We'll try our best to reach out to them. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce a quick one about our two speakers today. We have Nicholas, who is a business coach, right? Nicholas has been a serial entrepreneur actually. He created a lot of businesses and doing a lot of things. I'll get him to share that later on with you guys, what exactly he did, and some of them are quite funny. And Alvin, he's a corporate solutions specialist. He has been in the corporate sector, really helping businesses grow and helping businesses, manage their employees, help them with their employee satisfaction as well. So definitely a wealth of experience in that area. Okay, so Nicholas, why not you kickstart with your introduction and followed by Alvin. Nicholas, please.
Hi guys, it's Nicholas here. Hold on, I think I heard echo.
Heard echo.
Someone
Can? Okay.
Okay now.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Sounds okay, huh? Yeah, got echo.
Where's it from? Okay, you try again.
Hello, testing. No more idea. Okay, good. Hi guys, it's Nicholas here. Very proud, very honored to get invited by Leon and Timothy, the two handsome guys. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I am a serial entrepreneur, as what Leon said. Okay, I studied this business. Okay, that's because I studied so-called business administrator. Okay, my degree certificate is business administrators honored with entrepreneurship. Okay, so you know how serious am I to become an entrepreneur lah. Okay, so for myself, okay, I just roughly count. Okay, I involved in more than 10 industries in my life. Okay, 10 industries. So it's like different industries. I have a lot of things. I sell this, I do that, I service this, I did that. Okay, so currently I have my own business consulting firm, and I also do have another few companies. One is the limousine services, and then another one is financial planning. Yep. So nice to meet you guys here. So now to Alvin.
Yeah, we're gonna get you to talk a bit more about your stories about your businesses. There's some quite interesting stories that people shared with us the other day when we were having a chat, and I think everybody will be very interested in the kind of businesses that you have done, even the specific industries that you've gone into, and how you went about doing this, right?
Okay.
We'll get into that at some point in time during this 1 hour session. I think people will be interested to hear what you have done. But first, let's get to Alvin.
Okay.
Alvin, tell us a bit about yourself and your career so far and how you've gotten to this point.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim and Leon, and also Nicholas for your introduction. Basically, for me, I have been in the corporate world for 20 over years, starting off with normally I'm an engineer, so from from being a service engineer to basically own a few of these businesses in terms of a corporate point of view. Eh, what happened is that I have been doing this in a regional basis, chairing lots of business group as a senior executive, and over the years, especially traveling around in the world, um, many places, especially Asia Pacific, from China all the way to down south, uh, Australia, India, even Bangladesh and Pakistan. So that's a huge area. And what happened is that I also got in touch with a lot of multinational, both with UK as well as USA and Europe companies like Germans and the Dutch. So interestingly, that been in the corporate world for a long time, I learned a lot with regards to how to motivate an employee, especially in your topics with regards to saying that how you can maintain sustainability with the business as well as also to motivate the employee. That is where I think is in this area, I find that a lot of corporation, especially those who are a little bit more mid-sized, they are struggling at the moment with COVID. And the situation is as such. Many of these companies, I would say, they are struggling because of the motivational factor. And lots of companies are very short term in nature. Short term in the sense, a lot of us, especially those who are in the multinational, they kind of think of, okay, the end goal is that what are we going to do and achieve at the end of the year. And because of this short term kind of short-sightedness, a lot of employees are being very stressed out. I can say is that consulting with so many of these company at the moment, I realize that many of them are struggling because I've been coaching some corporate company in terms of different areas. One area is leadership as well as communication, and my forte is actually enterprise sales. What I do is I teach people on how to pursue uh, enterprise businesses, huge multi-million dollar businesses. And when I was talking with some of these people, especially the sales leader as well as the people under them, most of them felt the pressure, the huge pressure on how to sustain the business, especially in times of COVID. So I would say that because being able to interact with the people on the ground, I realized that they have no control. And some of the bosses, I mean, the thing is that the bosses are thinking about how to meet goals and the revenue and the top line, and the employees, the feedback from them is that, hey, some of them says to me in private, and says that, Stelvin, the problem is that it is very challenging situation at the moment, and we can't look at the short term. So in fact, one or two company that I consult with, their force, the number of employees shrink. And I asked them a very pointed question. I said, why when is what happened? Why is it shrinking? He says because they aren't able to cope. And these people came to my training and asked how are they going to cope with. I give them an advice. The advice is very simple. If your boss never give you a free hand in terms of how to do something. The stress level from you guys will go sky high. And the stress level goes sky high, there will be attrition. People will tend to leave the organization. It's like a revolving doors. So this is the real situation that we face currently in the COVID situation. And I think that those who really survive, I think, is those who have a longer term mindset. And I see some companies that has done pretty well, even if in this kind of situation, is to motivate their employee in such a way that we we do it together, kind of thing. Okay, we are in it together. When that kind of atmosphere comes, the trust level went up, and the employee just, hey, I want to do it with you, man, boss. We're gonna do it and go through this cycle together, and that makes a huge difference. I'm sorry, I had Retta and Retta. It's just
No, it's okay. That's okay. Thanks for sharing, Alvin. I think you hit a few things when you know when you shared with us about your whole experience with certain corporates, which I want to get into. I think let's pull it back a little bit and let's start from this point, right? You mentioned COVID and you mentioned companies are struggling and there are short-term goals and long-term goals. And I think the biggest problem is trying to find a balance between short-term survivability. Right?
yes,
Companies to make money, they need to be able to. I mean, if they don't have profit, they don't have money coming in, don't have revenue for a start. Don't even talk about profit. They don't have revenue for a start. There's no way you're going to pay your costs, and your costs include your employees, right? So unfortunately, the short-term survival has taken over, and people are pushing their employees hard. They've also got to manage costs. So you see employee forces shrinking, right? Purely because they can't sustain such a big employee force with the kind of revenue they're getting in. So let's pull it back and let's think a little bit about, let's get your views on what you feel are the big risks right now in this kind of COVID situation that we're in, that companies face, right? What are the risks that they face immediately, right? In terms of short term, and also in terms of longer term. Let's say we look at medium and long term, what kind of risks do they face in terms of survivability, in terms of business continuity? Short term, of course, you need to get revenue in, right? Because markets are down. Economy is terrible now. We're starting to pick up a little bit. The situation is getting a little bit better, but it's all going to take a lot of time, right? Your import exports are affected. Internally, our economy is affected. Externally, globalized economies are affected as well. Your trading is affected, right? So let's get your opinions, right, as to what you think are the biggest risks. Let's say short term first, right? Maybe Nick, maybe you can share with us what you think a company, whether it's an SME or MNC, what kind of risk do you think they face that they will need to manage?
Okay, I mean for the SMEs itself, we have very important. First of all, echo. Okay, I think now okay. Okay, I think for SME itself, first of all, because like they're working in this kind of environment, that especially in Singapore, our margin is already like being squeezed down until like very very minimal, and we like for previously, because we thought that, I mean, lots of people, lots of so-called those bosses, they do not really have their emergency fund. That is very very dangerous for, especially for SMEs, because for them it's like, okay, I earn money, okay, I will just save up a bit straight away to myself first, then after that only I start thinking about my company. But when I'm thinking about my company, I will thinking of expansion first, because like before COVID, I mean, everything is smooth. So like a lot of business, they think, okay, it's time for me to like expand, so I will like save out some money, I will go and invent all these things. So their cash flow especially is very in dangers. Then after like this 1 year plus, although we have like government grants or all these things, they are still like trying to chase up. Okay, they need to chase their sales, they need to chase their so-called backdated like debts or all these things. Then come to the end, like they really need like longer than what you expected to really recover it. It's just like it's not like saying that okay, after this COVID I just lose like 200k, but that 200k actually like is actually much more than, I mean, it's not easy as what you think to pay back. So maybe the losses of 200k you may really need at least like 5 years to 10 years to cover back, because now you are in the recovery stage. The margin is still there. Okay, it's like 5 to 10%. I mean, some of it even like 1 to 2%. Okay, then you want to like slowly to like, okay, because you got cost still involving and all these things. So I mean, the recovery stage is very, I mean, not easy. Okay, so what we really think is that, okay, so in Chinese we say 开源节流. Okay, so first of all, you need to reduce your cost. Okay, you cannot like last time. Okay, everything also one TikTok one. Okay, you want a 5 million machine or whatever. So, okay, no more. Okay, try to cut your cost as much as possible. And 开源 is actually more important than 节流. That's mean reduce cost. So 开源 is that open more sales funnels for your companies. Okay, instead of just like doing like lots of like those F&Bs. As you can see, they're like starting to have the breakfast and have all those social medias. Okay, that which is good. Okay, but they can do better with like all their things. So I mean, to improve more on their different types of sales funnels is very important, I think.
Thanks, Nick. I think makes a lot of sense, right? So in terms of containing costs, opening opportunities for companies need to look at different business streams to spread their risk to a certain extent, right?
Yep.
But there's also issues with things like you mentioned, right? So unable to call back, money from vendors. You may have bad debts. You can't claim back. Companies may shut down and the money's gone. And the whole process of getting money back is a very tedious and tiring process. And also the process of pivoting, right? You take the example of F&B, right? So F&B, it's very brick and mortar, very retail. You go there and buy things, and when COVID hit, everybody had to pivot to online platforms, social media selling, Facebook selling, whatever way they could to get business, they went to do it because it's a matter of survivability.
Yes.
And I think a lot of industries were like that when COVID hit, when we realized that we got to shortcut the process. We can't keep thinking about what we could do in the future because the future is now. And we need to start doing it now. If not, we will all die, right? So across many industries, you saw it. You saw everybody changing really quickly. Things like learning and development, right? Face-to-face trainings were gone. Everything went on Zoom, right? Everything went online. Everybody figured out how to do it somehow. Meetings were online. People started working from home. Everything just changed like that. Why? Because we were forced to. So it's not that we cannot change. I think generally when things are going well, we always have resistance to change. But the mark of a good leader in the business is somebody who can adapt quickly, right? Because if you don't adapt quickly, you will die. In a sense, you need to be like cockroach like that. Right? You need to be able to adapt and survive. Right, no, I mean, in business, that's what you do, right? You need to be like a cockroach. You need to adapt and survive. I think Nick's got plenty of stories about being a cockroach. Not literally.
I think I'm one of the cockroach already.
What I feel is that with regards to the continuity portions, I think it's more on the foundational thing. If the company isn't that solid, I say solid is that the leadership is just being mediocre, in the sense that if you are in the mediocre range, I think most company in that category will not survive this COVID. Very sad to say that, because I would say is that if the leadership is real solid, in the sense that they have built a team, the team that has a core team where they are really with, I would say that the core team where the team that can really bring the business in. What I'm referring to is the core team with strength, very capable strength. Let's say, for example, in areas like finance, you have at least one guy that has a really good grasp of the finance portion, marketing, sales. If every one of these department or have a real key man, I call it key man, and this core is built on that foundation. We are probably be able to survive this COVID, and because of that, the team can actually create. I would say is that they pivot to some extent to whatever situation that comes along the way. So what I was thinking is that if the company has not a very solid leadership, and I would always say that it's a revolving door, and when it happens, when there is no motivation, no trust or whatsoever within that company itself, people go in and out of the company, and that there is no sustainability within the company, because with that, you basically is a, I call it an empty shell, hollow, no substance. When there is no substance, you can't survive. If you have a core that is so strong, that is substance, you will survive, because that core will bring up the people. And what I would say is that I just want to share my experience when I was visiting various places. One very interesting experience is that I was overseas in US of A, and that time I was there for 3 over weeks. So it's the thing is that when you are overseas 3 over weeks, you hop into the bar and got nothing to do. You start to talk to the barman and having a good chat with this barman. So I was saying, hey, how come you are so joyful every time? What makes you feel so joyful about this company that you are working with? That is actually a hotel chain. So I asked this barman, I forgot his name by the way, but we have a very good chit chat. And he says, oh, I love my job. I said, wow, what a word, love your job. I've never come across somebody who say I love the job. I mean, like and love is totally different thing, right? You say
Yeah, yeah.
normally you say I love my wife, not I like my wife or something like that. I'm married. I will say I love my wife, right? If somebody say I love my job, something is really special about that. I say, why you love your job? Huh? Can you tell me more about it? And this barman was saying that, oh, it's very different. The people here are very friendly. The bosses come around and just come by and ask me how is it, what is going on, and if there is something wrong or something that he face a problem, the bosses come and solve it immediately for him. He say, I feel like a family. Why? Goodness, this guy. I say, then wow, this person is really loving his job. Then I was very curious. I says that, hey, seriously speaking, I'm hopping from bar to bar. So just 100 meters away, there's another bar, which is another hotel. The atmosphere is totally different. The guy just throw me the mug and say, hey, take it, man. The, the attitude was horrible. It's still 4 to 5 star hotel. You can imagine the difference. What I'm trying to say here is that if someone loves the job, they go all out for you. That's the big difference. When they go all out for you, it makes the team very strong, and they can actually go through hardship. I'm referring to this time around. If they pull through, the company will grow and grow, because it is not hollow. It is really a solid team. Yeah. So I feel that leadership is very important, and communication is another key. Yeah. That what I
Yeah,
would say is that cost is very important. If you just think about just the cost alone, it won't work, because everybody cut down costs and you go back to the same same old competition. You cut $1, I cut $2. Everybody will survive. No. Competition, if you cut costs, you will not survive. You have to bring in the value. The value is very strong for people who are motivated. If the company is strong enough, everybody is motivated. You can see the vibe, and that will make a huge difference. I would say that the long-term gain, the long-term run I'm referring to is very important, not being very short-term in terms of that. So
Yeah,
a
so,
lot
so
of
it's always
us,
important in terms of the leaders, right? So the leaders are the ones that are the catalyst for your people to be high performing,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
I think you have any thoughts on this?
Actually, leader very important. Okay, as what we say in especially in SMEs lah. Because when you are SMEs, you are not alone. Okay, you have a team, you have your peoples. Okay, first of all, I agree with what Alvin says. Okay, you need to love your jobs lah. Okay, you
Yes,
need to be
exactly.
passionate enough to love your. I mean, to do your works. If not, you will feel very painful, especially in this kind of like down situations. A lot of people they jump over, they hang themselves is because they really don't like their job. Okay, they just for the sake of money. But definitely got some people they like money lah. So when they like money, okay, they see money come in, okay, so they love their job. Okay, it's a little bit different lah. Okay, but okay, for the leaders in like especially in Asia's countries, okay, first of all, we look at first definitely we're going to generate income lah. Okay, generate income after that is a passionate. Okay, for leaders itself, the directions definitely is very very important, and how you really treat your employees well, and how you really motivate your employees is also very important. But I saw a lot of one cases lah, just one of my friends. Okay, he's now in construction firm. Okay, as you know, in Singapore now the foreign workers they're already like they're limiting all the Indians, Bangladesh to come in. Okay, and now because of the shortage of manpower, the so-called the wages for the Banglas and the Indians, okay, has been raised out at least 60 to 70%. It's crazy. It's crazily high. If you want, and it's shortage of manpower, but you still got contract in hand, so you really need to go and fulfill whatever contract you have. Okay, what my friend did is he tried to bring in some people with higher costs, but he stopped. He rather let his workers, because we need to look at the long term. Okay, you want to raise the because workers they will never look at the long term. They just want to look at their money. Yeah. So my friends did this is he just bring in because no choice. Okay, he also got shortage of power, but he he's so-called like very firm that more than what price I'm not going to bring in. Okay, I will just do whatever I can do, and I will spread my culture in. He should tell to his Bangla workers and India's workers. Your work is not for temporary. Temporarily I can increase your price, but you really need to think clearly. If I increase the price now, later on after this pandemic gone, what do you think you are? Where do you think you will be? You will definitely lose your job. So I'm still I'm looking at the long term relationship working with you. So we still working with a bonus or whatever things. We still reward in other terms. But not directly into the price. So for leader itself, is very very important, and some of the leaders they really so-called lost themselves. I saw a lot. Yeah, and they're like kind of like I don't know what should I do. Then I will just and this is what we call like firefighting. When a company start firefighting, this company will never grow.
Yeah.
And also, another most important thing is that if the leader gone, everything is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's a very important point, right? Because
that's an important point. Leader gone, everything gone.
If a lot of companies depend on the leader, right, to be driving the business, or the personality of the leader to be driving the business, what happens if the leader is not there, right? I mean, things happen, something may happen to the leader, or he may have to step down for some reason. How does a business continue in that sense? What do companies do to mitigate against that possible risk of a leader not being around at any point in time? And do they have any solutions for that? Do they have I don't know, succession planning? Do they have a risk transfer mechanism? In your experience, Alvin and Nick, what do you feel companies should be doing to protect themselves against the possibility of the leader not being around at any point in time?
Well, I have a personal experience. I met up with one personal friend many years back. Not very close, but business acquaintance, and become a close friend of mine to some extent because we have common. The wife know my wife, and what happened is that this person initially he was working for somebody and he started the business and he was doing very well. He was doing servicing and he ventured into China. He went to China and he's making lots of money. To be honest, he's trying to change his car and getting very wealthy. I mean, in terms of the, you can see that is my battery is running low. Let me see.
Oops. Nick, why don't we have your opinion? Let Alvin go and find his charger.
I can continue. Yeah. So what happened is that this person actually was very well, and he went to basically Sichuan. The place is where Chengdu as well as Chongqing. This is the place where he makes a lot of money with regards to some pipelines business. And long story short, that I was I lost touch with him for a short while, and we just moved on. And one day I saw in the newspaper a familiar face, and this person appeared on the front page of the newspaper, and I was shocked. I said, "Hey, why is he there?" And the news wasn't very pleasant. He was basically in one of the hotel, very 5-star hotel. He lived in a 5-star hotel. I stayed there together with his wife. And long story short is that there's an armed robbery, and he was shot, and was killed. And the wife was there to witness that. That was horrendous. And straight away we call our friends and check it out and see how we can help the wife. And what happened is that the wife doesn't really want to take over the business. It's very emotional things. What I see is that after knowing this, I realized that because now I'm in financial consulting business as well. I'm a financial advisor, and I also talk with people with regards to key man insurance. Initially, I don't know about this kind of thing. Then I realized that it is very important for a person who own a business, especially. You need to buy something like a key man insurance. Those people, the key person, if is gone for some reason, let's say for this case, he passed on. If the wife do not take over, either the partner can buy over, vice versa, whatsoever. The business continue, and that is where key man insurance is very important in this aspect.
Actually, for Nick yourself, based on what Alvin has mentioned, I think you have a lot of experience also in being overseas, right? As what we discussed before. With regards to key man insurance, what's your own thoughts about it? Yeah.
Okay, I mean for leaders itself, okay, definitely you got to secure yourself first, lah. Okay, come to the end, for key man insurance is very important because when the key man is the so-called your boss is not here, okay, like go hospital or whatever, okay, you definitely need some so-called cash or whatever to keep it rolling. to so-called to prepare for the unexpected. These kind of things. Then after that, key man, I think most important still about to secure. Okay, I got one story is that I got one client is that he's like those MNC companies leaders lah. And then they're really okay. They tell me okay they cannot take one plane, same one plane. Okay, so even they go to one destinations, they want to separate the risk. Okay, so they rather like take like a 2 hours or 3 hours or even a 1 day difference trips to the same locations. Okay.
Yes.
So
That's very common.
this is what we call lah. Okay,
It's
but
very
I understand lah.
for BCP lah.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean,
most MNCs do that as well, right? They
Yeah,
always
most
separate
MNCs
their
do that.
leaders into different planes in
Oh, is
case touch wood, something happens to the plane, you don't lose your entire management team at the same time lah.
Oh, okay. So next time I want to go travel, I cannot follow my wife already lah.
If you all are both the business owners, then
No, I just purposely don't want to follow my wife.
that one I don't know. That one is a different problem. The one on Facebook, right?
Different story.
Yeah, very important one, you know.
Your wife is a key man.
She is the key man. I am a part of the key man, you must think like that. Okay, one company, family is like a company. Okay, so next time, okay, you all want to travel. Okay, you know how to do it, lah. Okay, just tell them. Just tell your wife. Okay, we need key men. Okay, we need to separate the risk. That one different, already. Correct.
Correct.
Tell wife. I don't have wife yet. It's okay.
So now
I'll
you
kind
see your wife in Malaysia, then you stay in Singapore, right?
Yeah lah, separate risk ma, correct not? Must separate risk one, okay?
Very
Yeah.
smart. Very smart.
Add on the key man. The strange thing is I thought key man is just one person. I realized that key man can be a group of people. Group of people, and the key man insurance is really insuring the business. It's not insuring the people, insuring the business. So the interesting thing is that key man is for that company, the corporation. It's not for an individual. So it's very interesting aspect of insurance that I just realized that I still learning, but this is really interesting because when I talk about key man to some of my corporate client at the moment, they say that, hey, Alvin, until I reach millions of dollars, then I buy key man. Then I realized that their concept of key man insurance is totally warped in the sense. Actually, key man insurance don't have to be huge amount of money. It's the continuity of even if you have maybe 3 or 4 people, you still can buy a key man insurance. You don't have to be a multi-million dollar, then you buy key man. That's too late, maybe, but then
People don't know the difference. Firstly, I think a lot of people don't know the why you use it, right? So business continuity is the biggest reason for people buying key man insurance. A lot of times
we make it very simple lah. Okay, everyone is boss. Okay, even the char kway teow one also boss. Okay, the char kway teow boss is a key man also, you know. So if the char kway teow boss, okay, the company need to buy key man insurance for him. You know why? Later one day he go accident, he go inside hospital already. Okay, who go and fry the char kway teow? But the rental, the cost or whatever still need to pay one. Correct or not? So for the company perspective of view, this char kway teow boss is actually just an employee. Okay, without these employees, the whole thing cannot operate, really, ma? So
Yep.
I mean, for the company itself, okay, you need like key man insurance to so-called cover the loss or the cost that within this period, or even like touch wood, go somewhere else already. Okay, you need sometimes to so-called sustain this company. So I mean, those MNCs, so MNCs like directors or whoever's, okay, they sometimes they thought that okay, one thing that to see whether your company really care about you is whether they got buy key man to you or not. If they got buy key man for you, okay, that means they really care about
Oh
you.
my.
that means you contribute a lot to the company lah. Right? So,
Correct or
so
not?
you,
Correct or not?
I think that's it, right? So you, what you mentioned, I mean, Char Kway Teow seller was a very good analogy, but that's essentially the concept, right?
Yeah,
If this person is not around, how much does the company suffer? And
yeah,
and that amount that the company suffers is the measurement of how much you should be buying for as a key man policy. So if this guy holds all the big accounts, and if he's not around, all these big accounts won't come in, and you lose $2 million, then you should be buying $2 million worth of cover at least,
yeah.
because
Yes, yes.
that's the amount of business that you will need to rebuild when this person is not around. Or
That's why those MNC, you see the company boss got buy the premium for you or not lah. So you see how much you worth lor.
it's not very common. To be honest, it's not very common. It's not a very common thing to find in local context. You don't see a lot of companies buying it. I think it's not talked about enough because it is something that really helps manage in terms of cash flow risk for companies, especially if you lose somebody who's really key to the success of your company. And especially at times like this where, where businesses are already so precarious, right? One thing can be the trigger factor between your business surviving or dying. And it will really push you over the edge if something happens. So I always view insurance as a risk transfer mechanism. So instead of having to take that risk on yourself, you transfer that risk to an insurance company through an insurance plan, right? And you pay a fraction of what you would pay to cover. You pay a fraction of money to cover a huge amount of money if anything happens. And that's really the whole idea behind having something like a key insurance, right? So it's one way to mitigate against business risk. We also talked. We talked a little bit about employees and employee satisfaction and taking care of employees, being one of those things that good leaders do, right? So how do you feel that companies should be taking care of their employees to make sure, especially at times like this, there are issues with mental health issues are a big thing nowadays, right? So you see it everywhere. Workplace mental health issues, even working from home. Everybody's working from home and staring at a screen, and that's become an issue. Isolation, not being able to interact with people, staring at a screen your whole life, not getting out of your house. It's become an issue now. So mental health is one of those things that companies need to manage. But in a broader sense, what do you think companies should be doing to take care of their employees so that they make employees feel that they are valued, right? Or it gives them a competitive edge in terms of in the industry compared to their competitors.
I think one of the most important thing, okay, first of all, give them enough money. Okay. Money, no matter how, okay.
That's always a win to me.
Okay lah, for normal people lah, okay. Sure, I tell you lah, I give you 100,000, 200,000, but definitely money is not 钱不是万能的, okay. You cannot give your employees like I give you 2,000, 10,000, 20,000 just to go and wipe the toilet or whatever, okay. Definitely we got a so-called a market practice price lah, okay. So now what we are saying that is that if every companies they have a so-called they already match with their market practice price, okay. We don't say about those undervalued workers or all this lah, okay. Because there will have a lot of people that say, hey, my boss also not even pay me enough. You ask your boss to pay enough first lah, okay. But when you reach to the so-called market standards, okay, like everyone already get 5K or 6K just to wash toilet, okay. What makes you keep your workers within your companies? Definitely, you need to give them a little bit extra, okay. Let them feel more secure, okay. It's first of all, very simple, okay. In construction, we got so-called a minimum insurance for all the workers. So if you guys also heard about the woman compensation, all these things lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so because that one is high risk, okay. But even now, when we work from home, let's say if I fall down from home during working time, so that one is considered what? Is myself or the worker, the company one. So Okay, so maybe I mean like in order for the so-called leaders to bosses to have like more competitive like employees environments than others. Okay, I think insurance for all the workers is essentials. I think a lot of those MNCs companies they do have already, right? I mean, it's not all. I cannot hear you. Okay, so I assume MNC company have lah. Okay,
Yeah, a
but
lot of MNC companies do have, yeah.
most of the SMEs companies they don't have. Okay, so they
Yeah,
just
it's quite true. No, Nick's point of view is that it's quite true because I would say that some people, even the smaller one, like say for example the kopitiam or whatever, they hire maybe 10 people or so ever. They think that they just pay them enough and they do whatever necessary for their medical, and they didn't realize that there is what we call the group insurance. I would say that it's very interesting that group insurance can be very very affordable for an owner, a small time owner, and it is affordable and yet it bring in the prestige to some extent because most of these group insurance, I would say that they have a tie up with some medical group, and the medical group can give them outpatient subsidy, sometimes even to that extent that it's totally free as well for employee. There are different packages, and I think that uh, small, medium-sized enterprise or even the kopitiam, that kind of business, even the durian seller or whatsoever, you can buy a group insurance because group insurance can go from, I think, only minimum 3 person you can buy a group insurance. That is what I see is possible, and lots of small, medium-sized enterprise may not find that at all that it is useful. And I think in this platform, it is thanks to Tim and Leon, and really the group insurance is a way, a platform for people with a small business to hop on to and take advantage of that, and actually bring up their image as well as motivate their staff as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of difference. I remember having conversations with companies, and even agents that I trained, right? And I trained them to be able to talk about employee benefits to companies. One of the things that I trained them to do was to have this conversation, right? And just looking at two SMEs, I mean, a lot, like you said, a lot of SMEs are not insured, and view this insurance not as a cost, but view insurance as a differentiating factor for your company as well, right? So you imagine two companies, same industry, and you are trying to hire somebody, and the person's got an offer from both companies, and same amount of money. Like Nick was saying, everybody's being paid $5,000, very nice salary. The next thing they look at is, $5,000 clean toilets. One day may be a reality. I mean,
it might be.
you never know, right?
Inflation.
Charge me higher already,
Minimum wage. When we get to minimum wage, maybe it will happen. Like Australia, right? So you get good money for making coffee. Anyways, so if you're comparing two companies, right, and one has an additional set of benefits, right? So they cover for medical, they cover for life, they protect their employees. Which looks better? I mean, just comparison. It doesn't take a genius to see which gives you a better deal, right? Are you taking care of your employees? Are you protecting them? Are you giving them extra benefits in that sense? Compared to a company who has nothing and just gives you the salary and tells you go take care of yourself. It's okay. So
Actually,
it's
this
a
happened.
differentiating factor. Yeah, sorry.
This happened. Like recently you can see the news. Those like cha peng dang or like the roasted duck or the whatever. It's not char kway teow lah. This one is like a bak chor mee or what. Okay, they want to hire like so-called a helper, a supporter, with like 4K to 5K also. No people want to do. Have you heard about it? Yeah, I think maybe they can like
This is a
go.
tough line lah. Nobody wants to do
Yeah,
lah.
no one will do. What's the reason? It's not just because of the money you need. No, this one you really need to think about like other things, like especially like, well, let's say because like so-called is also higher risk lah. Okay, you got hot water. You need to deal with those like hanky-panky people. Those all these things lah.
I've always had this conversation. I had this conversation with people who. I mean, I've worked with people who were hawkers before, right? In trying to get them to buy insurance to take care of themselves, right? So it was a company doing a scheme, and they were trying to put together medical insurance, and the employees needed to enroll. And the conversation I had with them was to convince them to enroll onto this program, which will cost them a little bit of money. And these are, like your coffee shop auntie, your food court auntie. This particular company did the cookhouse in army camps, and we went down to the army camps to talk to them one by one. And the conversation I had with them was to tell them why they should be doing something like that. Given that they don't earn a lot of money, why should they be spending money to do this kind of thing, right? And in this case, the company gave them some money to offset the cost of buying it. Right? So the company was trying to put into a scheme where they gave them money to make sure that they are covered, but they still had to enroll. And we're trying to make them understand that, hey, you're not going to lose out. Company's going to give you money, but this is really, really going to protect you. And for lower wage workers, it really makes a lot of difference. So things like medical insurance. Imagine if you earn $1,500 a month, if you go into hospital, how are you going to pay for your bill? It's really the reality of a lot of people now, and they feel that they cannot afford it. And there's no way, and it's not a priority for them because they really need the money to survive, and they don't see the need for it on a personal level. So if a company can come in and take care of them, right, either cover the cost of a individual plan for them, or provide kind of benefits for them, at least they will feel that they are valuable to the company, like Nick was saying, right? So they buy something for you, you feel like you're valuable to a company. And like Alvin mentioned just now, if you feel that you're valuable to the company, your performance will go up. You are more engaged with the company, you are more satisfied working for the company, you feel that the company cares for you, right? So it does demonstrate to people that by providing for them, making sure that they're taken care of, making sure that they're protected, making sure that their needs are met, right? Not just giving them a salary. It does create a different mindset in your employees. It keeps them more engaged. Of course, having good leadership always makes a difference. People who really genuinely care for you, who will go in and try to resolve your problems when you have problems. And it's always good to work for a good boss, right?
Yes.
In my life, I've had good bosses and not so good bosses, and you can really see the difference between the two, right? And you will remember both for different reasons. As a leader myself, I always feel that it's you pick the best out from your experiences and you try to incorporate them into your own life so that you are a better leader, right? And those are things that we do as people to learn, so that we also don't make the mistakes that we've seen.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, am I still echoing? I don't know. Yeah, whole night been echoing and echoing and echoing. Is this still a problem?
No, it's fine.
No, it's okay.
It's fine. Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah. So really want to thank Nick, Elvin, and even Timothy, very for sharing so much today. I mean, even though I was echoing, I could hear every single thing. And I think at the end of it all, it just boils down to leaders. I think essentially the decision makers who are the key people in making sure that employee satisfactions are being met, making sure that the whole structure is being fixated, being put out for the whole company itself. And we moved on to talk about key man insurance. We even talked about EBS, how to differentiate yourselves from different companies. Instead of just hopefully everyone can just increase salary lah. But I mean, it's tough. But yeah, essentially, I think these are ways and means that managers or even the higher ups can really put aside their themselves for the people below for them lah. And being for myself, I'm someone who is new into all this. I must say, having only been corporate for a while and now moving on to financial advisory and trying to build some entrepreneurship for myself, I really enjoyed whatever Nick, Alvin, and even Timothy, you guys have shared. And it really helps people who are part of the community around us to understand a bit more about what they should do for themselves if they want to create a company, want to start their own business ventures and things like that. Sadly, we don't really have much time lah. If not, I wanted to ask so many other questions. Nick's funny stories and all, and about all your trips overseas. I think maybe we could end off with one last question, and then maybe I'll wrap it all up. I just want to gain an insight, from Alvin and Nick. You guys talked about how you guys experience various cultures, right, in overseas and things like that. And I think business here in Singapore versus business overseas, there's so much things that we need to learn, and so it's so different lah. So in that note, for Alvin, maybe you can kickstart, to end this off, and then after that, Nick, what's the difference that we should look out for? Because now globalization and everything, and everything happening on the internet, it's so easy to cross cultures, and you get to really do entrepreneurship, you do business with other people that are online and things like that. How should we bridge the gap, and how should we be wary about such cultures? Maybe Alvin, you want to say a bit?
Well, I travel quite a fair bit with regards to the regions. One thing that sticks to my mind is China, especially. China, when I first stepped into China, I realized that being the host, we paid for the bill. The whole table, we need to start off with the dish first, or else nobody dare to touch the dish. I didn't know about it, and initially I was thinking, hey, let's carry on. No one is eating. They say, you got to start, no, or else they will not eat anything. So initially, I didn't know about it because that dish I don't like to eat on actually. So I say, I'm not going to eat this dish. So I say, hey, come on, let's eat. Hey, no one is eating. Then my colleague from China whispered to me, you got to start or else no one will eat that. That is a funny thing that I learned. And the other one is also very interesting is that drinking. I'm not a very good drinker. So I recall once I went to one part of China. I don't want to mention where is it. They are heavy drinker. And I was trying to hold up to the drinks. I can handle 2 bottles of red wine, no problem. There was younger then. 2 bottles is okay for. Then most of the people around after the dinner all knocked out except me, because I was holding on to the drink. I don't drink a lot. The rest of them, they put crates and crates under the table waiting. Wow, I say, my goodness, these people are mad or whatever. Then thereafter, I go back to the same place again, and my branch manager tell me, he said, Alvin, 你没有表现，那时没有表现。What do you mean 表现? You need to show something. This time around, you have to show them you really drink and be very sincere. I said, oh my goodness, what are you trying to tell me? He said, you got to 表现. So I was kind of trapped in a sense. After a huge presentation, 3-hour presentation, we have 4 round tables, 40 of us. So this guy was asking me, hey, you got to go and toast everybody. So I said, you need to 表现. So what I did is that I went to the first table. Oh my goodness, they asked me to toast them. It's not 1 glass to 1 whole table, no? 1 glass, 1 glass, so 10 of them. Then the next table again, I was doing it 30 cups of red wine, the smaller cup, not the big one. 30 cups of red wine in 20 minutes. Or 3 tables. And the fourth table, when I came back, I was, my goodness, don't know what I'm doing. And my British friends went over to some other place. They have teleconference or whatever. He came back, my face like a lobster. That wow, really red. And said, Elvin, you really need to dehydrate. So he brought me a bottle of water. I think it's 1 liter. I got the water. After that, I don't know what's happened. They just dragged me back to the hotel room. I couldn't walk at all. It's crazy. This is a real crazy experience. When I think about it, I would never do that again. Many other stories, but one that stick to my mind.
Yeah, definitely. As in, I mean, I'm actually very interested with all your stories, lah. But I mean, we don't really have much time anymore for this live. So I mean, if you guys are really interested, to know more about Elvin, know about Nick, definitely you can reach out to them. So before we end off this live, I really want to thank both Nick and Elvin for being here with both
Thanks,
Timothy
guys.
and I. Really enjoyed the whole process, and I think also we didn't even get to see whether there are any comments as well, because it was just so interactive that way. But no worries, if you guys have any questions as well, you can always reach out to Nick and Elvin. So Nick, would you like to do a shout out to share with everybody about yourself? Yeah.
I can see already so many things here already, you see. Okay. This one very straightforward, okay. Just search for Nicholas Tai, okay. If you got any so-called business solutions or operations things that you really need it, okay, or you find some things that you really want to talk about your so-called team bonding or this, okay, because I'm a certified NLP coach also, and yeah, so for this so-called 10 over years, I've been so-called involved so many industries, okay, which I share a bit with them already. Okay, some are really very funny ones. Okay, but I not just go in, okay, I go in to learn, okay, because I really like business operations to be exact, okay, because 行行出状元 and 行行 got different thing one, okay, so you cannot expect every trade is same, okay. I hope I can help you guys, okay. So if you really want to find anything regarding me, here, nah. Here many, okay.
Many, really many.
You can do English, you can do
Many.
Chinese, you can do Malay, right?
Boleh, kenapa tak boleh? Kalau nak cakap bahasa Melayu boleh. If you want Japanese also can. If you want Korean also can, no problem. Yeah.
Wow,
multilingual. Nicholas Tai desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Wow. Okay, so Elvin, yourself, do you want to do a shout out as well?
Okay, basically, if you want to reach me on LinkedIn, is you can go to digital online, and basically /Elvin CJ Chin, digital online /Elvin CJ Chin. You can reach me with LinkedIn as well as to my mobile phone. This is basically a digital name card, digital online /Elvin CJ Chin. So what I do is that basically for me it's more on corporate solution. As I mentioned here, I'm a specialist in corporate solution, and talking about leadership, communication, as well as my forte is to teach people how to pursue multi-million dollar project. We call it enterprise solution. Enterprise solution where there are multi-stakeholder. To say, for example, there are basically a project manager, a decision maker, or a owner, etc. We need to engage them in different phases, and it's a process. I came up with basically a 2-day program on how to approach different stakeholder. We call it the buyer units, where we can basically engage them in a professional manner to upsell, up our limits, add a lot of value before we close the deal. So it involved a lot of different strategy. So this is one thing that I'm very comfortable with. It's a 2-day program, and I conducted numerous them online as well as offline as well. And also, I'm also a financial consultant in personal areas on personal finance as well as enterprise insurance as well. So that you can reach out to me as well on that area. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to shout out Leon and yeah.
No problem, Alvin. Yeah, so really want to thank both Nicholas and Alvin for being here with us. We have passed the time accordingly, but really, if you guys really want to reach out to them, I put it in the comments as well. You can reach out to Alvin and definitely search for Nicholas on Facebook and his socials as well. Okay, so thank you guys for being here with us, those that stay here with us throughout. We will be also doing more of this. If you do not know about Supercharge Dialogues, we have already run about 3 episodes. So we are definitely going to do more and more episodes, and we're reaching out to more and more people and to share more about other different avenues in life that we should care about and definitely look into. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us. This we come to the end, and I will see you on the next Supercharge Dialogues episode. So good night, everyone.
Thank
Good
you
night.
both.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.